Hi everybody, my name is Warren Eagles. I'm a colorist based in Brisbane, Australia. I am currently here in beautiful Noosa, Queensland. It doesn't look like it out there at the moment. It is brightening up slightly. We're waiting for a load of paddle boarders to come by. Maybe they'll come by as we are doing this little tip here. We've been shooting training classes. I just want to go through and show you a couple of things that we can do in Resolve 17. I would say half the questions I get are about skin. This is in classrooms, it's at seminars, it's online, it's anywhere. People do have a real problem talking about skin. Now, I've got a few theories on why this is. I mean, obviously, I think one of the main ones is that we all have a really good reference of what people look like, don't we? We see them all the time, though we may not see certain, cars, colors, skies, houses, other things we don't see as much. We don't quite know what they should be, but we pretty much know if something's wrong in terms of skin. That's one theory. So we do see a lot of it, and a lot of how people should look is all in our brain. It's locked in there. The other thing is the talent, the person who we're grading is often the most important person in the show, the highest paid, sometimes half the budget. They've got to look good. Producers are always looking for the talent. I remember when I used to do a lot of music videos in the UK, music execs would come to the room and go, look, this is make or break for this artist. This person has to look fantastic. They've really got to look good. The boys or the girls watching it have just got to fall in love with this person. So no pressure there then, was there? So you've got to bear that in mind. You've got to be thinking all the time, this person has got to look good. And what can we do? Well, let's look at the new HDR tools. Now I'm using obviously the new panel with the new keycaps here. The new HDR tools, you don't have to be using an HDR project to use them. I am in color managed here, so I'm in a color managed project, and I'm going to just use my new low global grade just to pull a little bit of that warmth. Now I'm looking to get some separation out of the background to try and separate her off that background. Now I have on my wheel here, you can see I'm adjusting the exposure in the global, and I've also got a saturation in the global. So I'll do a little bit of that as well. I'm looking just to try and see if I can ease that yellow from her there. Always do as much as you can in the primary grade. And now, don't have to use HDR tools. I mean, this could be whatever software you're using, yeah? Doesn't have to be Resolve. Before you reach for the secondaries, the windows, the trackers, the curves, I see this all too often. People are grabbing for those tools and they're doing too many things. And I look at the shot and I just want to take everything off it. Now, we get to a certain level, we got to expect that, people should look quite good. If they've been shot okay and you balance them out, there's no reason to really think we should be going in there having a key. I know we have problems sometimes with mixed color temperatures and people get a bit red, they get nervous, we have to key things. Always try and do it with the primary. So what else can we do? So face refinement has been improved in 17. So let's have a look and see what we've got. I put it into a favorite here. So I've got that and I've got patch replacement in there as a favorite. So let's exit out full screen and drag it across to here. So we've got it sitting in there. It's in node 2. And if you want to see a blow up example using OFX, then on your keyboard, Shift F for Freddy. That will give you an expanded view. Now, when you analyze, it will automatically find her features. What I'm going to do is just stop that. And I'm just going to turn this on here. Open OFX overlay so you can see what's going on. Like that. Now, if you've got problems with it finding a face, or maybe there's two faces. Now, if there's two faces, it will detect with a box and go, which face do you want to analyze? If you've got problems finding something, what you can do is you can darken down the edges or put a vignette, just make it easier for it, and it will find a face easier if you darken out everything else, because it's only then got one face or one thing that it's got to find. Now it's done an analysis, and this is where some of the newer stuff is coming in that in here, what we can do is we can go here to skin mask, and there's more controls here than we had before. We can show the mask like that, and then we can go through and we can adjust like this. So we can turn this off and on, that, we can see what it's doing. We can denoise it a bit more. So let's leave that there. So we can do that, show the mask off, and I can turn the overlay off. Now you've got a few options here, beauty automatic. I quite like smoothing. Now I've been using this for a while, and you can just go in and just do a general smooth like this. Now there's a new option in here. If you double click in there now, you can use a keyboard. You can just go up like this, and it's quite useful for this sort of thing. You can just hold that, and I'm adding smoothing in there. But today I'm going to use Beauty Advanced, and I'm going to add a bit of diffuse lighting to her. So let's just do this. There. To turn this off, I'm going to go up there to there. Let me just toggle it off up here. Let's take that up a little bit more on 78. Now I normally go just add a little bit more, then just bring it back. Just use diffuse lighting. So as if you put a really nice soft box or something up above, a bit like what's making me look so good here. You know, I've got a huge amount of soft lights and probably a load of post work that's going to go on that's going to make me look 10 times better than what I really am looking now talking to you here. So I like that. I favor that one. You do have the ability to add texture and big texture back through. And like anything, just go in there and just move these by really small amounts. If you feel you've just overdone it and you just want to wind that back a bit, you can add a bit more texture in, you can recover a little bit more. Color grading, I tend to stick with having graded that before, but you may want to go in there once you have to try and achieve a bit more separation. Now you've obviously pulled that key. So you could go, but unlikely to add any contrast, or maybe even trying to back off contrast, because if you take contrast back, it's the effect of softening things slightly. More contrast will make the image look sharper. You sort of always, you notice when something's contrasty, it looks sharp and edgy, isn't it? If it's softer in contrast, it's going to look softer to the eye. Shine removal is a pretty good one. She doesn't have too much shine on her, but if you do need to move some of that away, you can just do that. There's a little one on her cheek there. Maybe I'd move that very small. Eye retouching, she probably could do with a really small, let's double click and just take a little bit of brightening in the eyes. Not much. A little bit of highlight as well, tiny amount. Eye bag removal, that is obviously what I'm going to need here for these videos. That'll be used, I think, for me. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, having done this, there is this like little pimple here. Now, there's nothing in here that says pimple remover, not yet anyway. Just drag, place on the line. And again, let's go full screen like that with my patch replacer. And I'm going to go down to my tracker, this guy, track VFX or FX, get a tracking point, pop that on there, the pimple tracker, track forward. And that's pretty good. I'm going to drag that back to the beginning, and we're going to go back to our view. And again, if you lose that view and you want to see the open effects overlay, just drop down to that. And then what we're doing, we are going to sample. That is going to go over there, and it's going to be pretty small. This is where we're going to grab a bit of skin. Now, what you need to do to get this centered, you need to click Keep Original Detail. Then I can go in and find out exactly where that problem is. It's about there. It's about where that crosses, isn't it, there? Now I'm going to sample some skin from about there, like that. Now it's pretty small, so I'm going to make this just a bit bigger. There. And then I can get rid of that. Just go off. And then you can decide whether you are going to do adaptive blend or clone. Normally adaptive blend is good because it's going to blend in and try and match that grade for us. There. If I toggle that off and on, there. And I just need to soften the edges. So if I go in and I can again show that effects overlay, feather the edge of that shape. There. Toggle him off. Shift tilde does that. And then we can turn off that grade like that. And we fix that like that. And you can go ahead and do more of those if you want. I tend to use the patch replacer for simple things, not huge amount of things, and I don't do over the top beauty things, but we know the more and more stuff that we are doing, the more and more maybe the actual person in the video, this lady is our client. So the more we can do, and I know I bang on this quite a bit, the more we can do to keep them happy, keep them in our room, do small visual effects as colorists, add the little skies, do the little beauty things. We are not talking a L'Oreal with Jennifer Aniston, are we? We're talking about corporate things, the things that pay our mortgages, the things that send our kids to school. Keep the person in the room a bit longer, keep that client here, keep them happy. Little things like this and the things they're doing in V17 are pretty cool. So I hope that helps for you. Check out our range of classes at fxphd.com. Have a great day. Thanks for joining. My name's Warren Eagles. I'm a colorist based in Brisbane, Australia.